awesome I donated it. Yep, give it another 6 months. Okay. 3, 2, 1, good. All right, so I am Matthew Jones. I am a teaching artist, as a lot of my colleagues are, and I've always been really interested in materials. So specifically, I've been an encaustic artist for the last several years, and it's really interesting because I really love the texture and just the tactility of it and the ability to build up stuff like that. I've got a lot of projects already on the book for later this year, but I've also just come back from a residency in England, and I'm still kind of processing that. So that's going to be one of my goals here, is to take some of the that raw experience and all the images I brought back from that and trying to process that into a body of work, because I already have a couple of venues where I need to show that at. But yes. But one of the things that I have been interested in for a while, it's like I'm playing with materials, using them as like a metaphor. So recently I've been interested in this idea of like boundaries and kind of like what that really means. And so of course we got this landscape going on here with that tactile medium, but it's on this like this fence structure, because I think that the fence structure is a good analogy for how most people in our society view the outdoors. It's out there, but it's separate from us. And so the fence is kind of, the backyard fence kind of represents both of that. But I do have some ideas to play with other kind of fencing materials and build up that idea and see just where I can take that to more conceptual, kind of more extreme levels. So that's one of the things that I'm hoping to work on while I'm here, on top of the breaking down that residency. I've also been playing around with casting for a while. This is something that I put together using recycled polystyrene, which is interesting because we almost never recycle it, but it's actually really, really easy to recycle it in a dangerous way. And I really don't care about my own personal safety, but I promise I won't mess with it here. But yeah, so this was some little nature cast I was doing, just kind of playing with it, kind of like a sketch, see what I could do with it, and then playing with some LEDs to see what this material could do if I transformed it. And I do have some ideas for how to push casting also into my process and start playing around with not just nature and the outdoors, but our connection with it by playing with some more figurative and some more visceral elements to talk about just what our connection or disconnection is from our environments. And so I've got some ideas that I'm playing with there that hopefully I can get started before too long, but working artist, teaching artist, I'm hoping to start that in the summer. We'll see how that goes. All right. But some of the other concepts that I'm working in, this is from the residency, is one of my colleagues mentioned transcendentalism, but pantheism, this idea that nature itself could be evidence of the divine, was really kind of interesting to me. So I have some interest in going to like actual sacred sites, but also playing with the idea of nature itself being a sacred space, with that sense that the majesty of nature, proof of a divine thing. So I've got some ideas, kind of playing around, kind of conjoining these different ideas, and I want to, this is one of the shows that coming up at the late September, early October, of doing a exhibition looking at sacredness and sacred places. So this is from the residency over in England. This is Scar Hill, one of their big standing stone circles. I've done a lot of visiting from other locations, of course, that have some interest, Palo Duro Canyon, the Big Bends, the national parks. National parks were created out of that idea of respecting nature and seeing that as a sacred space that we needed to preserve as a natural resource, but also as a recreational thing. A lot of different things there. But yeah, I have this interest in pursuing this and seeing where I can take it as I develop my body of work here. And I think that's good enough. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you have looked into it, but there's down in like the hill country in Kerrville, Texas, there is it's called Stonehenge 2, and it's a 1-to-1 replica of Stonehenge, and then just like down the grass trail, there's like all the Easter Island heads, like, and I just think it's so interesting, but you're talking about sacred spaces, I think it could be interesting to see like what you think of like mock sacred spaces.
Kish.
Like,
So,
yeah, it's very kitschy.
Kish sacred, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I just
I'm not from Texas. I've only been down here for about 10 years. So if you got a whole list of great locations I should check out, I will add it to the repertoire. I've been there, yes, that's great.
Or outside, like in Cleburne, there's like dinosaur, like on Highway 67, there's just like farmland with all these like 4 or 5 feet dinosaurs. I take Polaroids every time I drive down that road. I have to. It's so funny.
I feel like there's also quite a bit of interesting cult lore around Stonehenge too. So yeah, if you're into cults.
Which is interesting because the experts know almost nothing about Stonehenge.
In the art world, kind of outlined in the red, and I started.
Please comparison. If you feel these things, if you feel a connection to the first, like I said, I came from Nicaragua when I was about 7. And then I'm gonna read like what I wrote here.
As a lot of my colleagues are.
All right. Very good.
So my goal for Cedars is not respond, but you can follow me if you want.
So here's a little bit about what I've published in the past.
We were talking about this the other time. Yeah, I would love.
It looked much smoother on my